welcome to my channel. So this series on this channel is going to be about me losing weight. I have been trying to lose weight since March, since the start of the pandemic, and I've been having many ups and downs. I've been doing different challenges by influencers. I have been watching all these people on YouTube who have also been trying to lose weight, just, focusing on health and, trying to be snatched by next year, by next summer. So yeah, I would like to document that. It's been, 6 months, I think. And I have made major improvements. I'm also trying new things, and I would like to document that. And I say all that to say, with this first video in this series, we will be talking about the ketogenic diet. Editing Caprice here. Just want to give a little bit more background. When quarantine started, I was like 210, 212, got all the way down to 196 by June, then struggled with the really slow weight loss, binged, then didn't work out, and I'll go more into detail about that later. But after that little episode of not working out and not eating well, I started keto, and I'll get into why I'm doing keto in another video. But for now, this is just some more information. Okay, now we're gonna get real in this conversation about keto. I am 6 weeks in on the ketogenic diet, and there are so many things, so many things that you don't realize will happen while you're on this diet. So I did all the research. I got a meal plan that I don't really use to a T anymore, but I got a meal plan that was using to a T. I'm doing lazy keto. If lazy keto is that you don't really pay attention to your macros, I believe that's lazy keto. That's what I did for the first month, just to kind of get into the habit of eating a high-fat diet, low carbs. And as a carb girl, I am a carb girl. I love me some bread, some pizza, some pasta, some fries. I love me some carbs. But I found it pretty easy to transition into keto, and that craving for carbs left. The first 2 weeks, I was really hungry a lot. I didn't have cravings though. It was more just I want to eat more. And I think that came from me kind of eating whatever I wanted and not paying attention to calories prior to getting onto the diet. So the first 2 weeks were rough. Just, one, getting used to being hungry, and then two, fighting that hunger and not eating outside of my calorie deficit. So after the first 2 weeks, it was pretty smooth sailing, right? But I realized because I was doing lazy keto, I was in and out of ketosis constantly. I wasn't consistently in ketosis because even though I was tracking my net carbs, I guess I was still going too high, or maybe my body just requires a lower net carb in order to stay in ketosis. I'm really not sure. Like I said, I'm only 6 weeks in, and all I know is information I can Google. I was in ketosis. My urine strip was a nice purple instead of a light pink. I was feeling great. I'm like, cool, we're in here, we're gonna do this. And then my body began to react in ways that it hadn't reacted before. Here is your disclaimer. I am a random person on the internet, not a nutritionist, dietitian, or anything like that. This is my experience. Do your own research, and that is all. I decided to go on a fat fast. Now, what is a fat fast? A fat fast is essentially a quick way to get into ketosis. You essentially eat low calories, 1,000 to 1,200 calories, and you eat very, very high fat. Now, I did not stick to this to a T, and I think you're supposed to do it 3 to 5 days, and I think I did 2.5 days. So let me get into it. So none of these days did I ever stick to that 1,000 to 1,200 calorie mark. I was at 1,500 calories because I was exercising while I was doing the fast, except for the day after the fast where I did a full fast and I didn't eat anything all day. I didn't exercise or anything that day. But back to the fat fast. I did the fat fast for about 3 days. At the end of the 3 days, I was in ketosis. My urine strip was a nice purple instead of a light pink. I was feeling great. I'm like, cool, we're in here, we're gonna do this. And then my body began to react in ways that it hadn't reacted before. Warning, if you do not like talking about bodily fluids, please skip to the time on the screen. What I'm about to talk about is very TMI, and if you can't handle talking about poop or talking about periods, you might want to skip this. However, if you are a woman, in regards to the period aspect and you're interested in keto, these are some side effects that you might want to be wary of. After the fat fast, I had really bad diarrhea. Like, when I tell you, I was living in the bathroom for 2 days. Just straight, my butt hurt. I had to be gentle when I was wiping, because like literally like my ass was over me and was like, what the fuck did you do to us? So that was not fun. It only lasted 2 days, thank God. I was real nervous because I was reading how it could last for up to 2 weeks. And it only lasted 2 days for me, and because I only did a fat fast, obviously the amount of fat I was eating dropped by a large amount, because I went back down to like a regular amount of fat on a high fat diet. But yeah, that kind of shocked to the system. It made my gut kind of wonky, and the way your body processes fat, your liver, is it your liver? One of those organs that help you process the toxins that you put into your body has to like reformulate in how it's processing things, because it's going from processing a high amount of carbs and protein, switching to a high amount of fat and a lower amount of, very low amount of carbs and low amount of proteins. So that can cause diarrhea, and diarrhea is a side effect of getting into ketosis too quickly. So if you do decide to do a fat fast, that is something that may happen, since it is like a shock to your body. And now, what's going on with my period? So I am on birth control. I take birth control for essentially 3 months, and then I have my period after those 3 months. So I only have a period 4 times a year. I never spot. The most that I ever have is like maybe cramps in between each month, but I don't ever bleed. However, on keto and after my fat fast, and I will say prior to the fat fast, I was spotting here and there, wearing panty liners and kind of like being like, oh, this is annoying. Now, after my fat fast, mind you, my fat fast ended on Sunday and it is now Friday. I pretty much have my period right now. I'm still on my birth control. I'm not scheduled to have my period for more than a month from now. And I'm on my full-blown on my period. Although it is lighter than I'm used to seeing. But I have all the gear on. I am all protected. But yes, I am on my period. And as someone who hates having their period, this is a very frustrating thing to have a part of the ketogenic diet. What I've read is that the irregularity of your period, either whether it's spotting or like getting your period when like unexpectedly, this tends to regulate. When you're on a ketogenic diet, you're essentially not tricking your body, but you're changing your body from burning muscle and carbs and all these other things before it gets to burning fat, to strictly going straight to fat and burning fat. And when you're burning fat, there are hormones that come out of that, and estrogen is a hormone that comes out of your fat. And when you're losing weight and it's coming out of your fat, you may not have irregular periods unless you're like losing weight really quickly. But with keto, you're pulling even more of that estrogen out than normal, so it causes your hormones to kind of go out of whack. So a lot of women suffer spotting, irregular periods, or no periods at all if you're blessed. So yeah, 2 things to look out for when you are doing the ketogenic diet is your gut health and your cycle. I hope you can still hear me because my air is on. I hope the sound is working. I don't know what else I have to say. That's pretty much it. But I lost my train of thought. Checking a work email. What was I going at with this? Let's see, what else can I talk about? Okay. All right, I'm done.